Muppets Now, Episode 5. The IT Factor is now live on Disney+. I'm going to give you my review of it and pick my favorite segment from this episode, and I want to hear from you as well. Welcome back to Eye2Eye, Disney Through Our Eyes. My name is Kyle, and this is our Disney Variety channel where we cover anything and everything Disney and share our perspectives through our eyes. Now, if you haven't, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and make sure you also have that notification bell marked so that you never miss any uploads that we have for you. I can't believe it's already episode 5. That means we only have one left, and I really hope they use these last 2 episodes to really solidify this series and potentially bring it back in the future. I'm happy to report that episode 5 is definitely a little bit more enjoyable for me from the last 1 or 2, where there were just some repeats and some overuse of characters that I really don't enjoy all that much. And as always, there are 4 segments for us to take part in this one. Those 4 segments are Lifestyle with Miss Piggy, Muppet Masters, Pepes' Unbelievable Game Show, and Muppets Lab Field Test. Let's take a quick look at each of those segments now. I'll give you my thoughts, and at the very end of this, I'll pick my favorite one. Segment number 1 for episode 5, you guessed it, it's back. Lifestyle with Miss Piggy and Uncle Deadly, of course. I said last episode review that I had hoped that was going to be the final one of that, since they pretty much have used that every single episode. And I even kind of did the math in my head. I was like, well, maybe they're using this many segments over this many times over this many. And the math obviously didn't work because it's back. As usual, there are 3 mini segments within this segment, Lifestyle with Miss Piggy. Those are Tips from the Top, Try It with Tay Diggs, and Le Chat Room, around the theme of travel. So the tips that she give you are pretty generic, and she plays some jokes off of that, getting your beauty rest. And then here's the cool thing is that Swedish Chef gets to make a cameo in this. You know, he's one of my favorite characters, and anytime you see him there, it just really brings that segment up for me. And it was a really funny exchange between him and his piggy. Try It with Tay Diggs. It was all about trying foods from around the world. And it's not just like we're trying this typical thing that most people would be willing to try. It was fried tarantula. It was pupae from silkworms, I believe. Blood pudding from Ireland. And there was something called sweetbread, which basically was some type of animal pancreas. That was kind of disgusting, but it definitely kept my attention. And then Le Chat Room, it was Le Chat Room. It was Linda Cardellini with Piggy kind of interacting back and forth, and then 2 Muppets at the bottom of the chat room that really don't do much except make little comments here and there. It was Beverly Plume and then what they called Some Bunny. So kind of a throwaway segment for me, but I definitely enjoyed this one just a little bit more than the last couple. Segment number 2 is Muppet Masters. It's back, finally. We've been wanting this one since episode 1. I really think they have missed the mark here in not utilizing this segment more than they should have. I honestly think they could have switched it out for a few editions of Lifestyle with Miss Piggy. It's really good. Walter is again the host of this, and he's going to be showcasing hidden Muppet talents, and this time it's the talent of Uncle Deadly, another one of my favorite characters. As usual, the talent that he's profiling is not necessarily what Walter is expecting. It's called stage combat with Uncle Deadly, and they have different ideas about how this is going, and then Walter's going to actually get to go out there and field test, I guess that's another segment, but field test this type of hidden talent with the Muppet he's showcasing. Now, Uncle Deadly stresses 3 aspects when kind of learning the skill of stage combat, and this is more of a stressing on using blades on stage. He says, first of all, vocal warm-ups. Why you need your voice warmed up, I have no clue in terms of the use of a sword, but they give some weird little screams. I think it's like, hua, hua, and things like that. Also, it's knowing your blade. And Walter actually knows a lot about blades, but when Uncle Deadly tries to explain it, it's pretty sad, some of the little basic terminology that he uses. He calls the top of it the pointy or the stabby bit. And then finally they get into the dance of the duelist, where it's not so much, parrying, lunging, counterattacking, attacking, and defending. It is all these weird little dance moves, and it really becomes more of a dance than a duel for Uncle Deadly, and just that's what it basically is. Stage combat for him is not about the combat, it's about the production of that combat. This is another winning segment for me here, and I really, again, I would stress to Disney and Muppets Now, do more of this in the future if you're going to be having more episodes. For segment number 3, they utilize another one that they haven't used a ton, at least some, but not as much as they should have. Pepe's Unbelievable Game Show. This is just what it is. It's a game show that has no rules, no way to really score points. It doesn't make any sense, but it's entertaining, and it plays well with the whole unscripted format since they utilize some human guests alongside the Muppets. Our human guests for this one alongside Pepe and Scooter, who is the assistant to Pepe on this game show, which he tries to keep afloat the entire time, are Karina and Eddie. And I thought they both did a great job of playing along with the gags throughout all of this because I found myself chuckling a lot in this edition. Game number 1 was called La Cabra, which means the goat, I guess, or basically the concept was scream as loud as this goat, and that's a gag that plays throughout the entire edition of this, and it really plays really well, and it was part of me laughing out loud a lot. Game number 2, at least it kind of was a game, but it really wasn't because they didn't give any points for it, was Secret Time, and Pepe asked them to tell them their deepest, darkest secret, and then just kind of moved on without it. No points scored whatsoever. Game number 3, which was really funny, was Tie a Tie on a Cacti, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They have to tie a tie around some cacti or cactus Muppets, and it was really funny to watch them reach around and try to act like they were getting poked and things like that. And I would say that the tying skills of these two contestants leaves a little to be desired. Game number 4, we've heard it before, is the final question, and all he does is ask just one random question to ask what, is the difference between this, or what's the ultimate question of life. It makes no sense. The final question for this was, what's the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard? I don't even remember if we got the answer for it, but he gave the win to Eddie on this one. That means that Eddie got to go to the bonus round where he competes with another Muppet to complete a task for some additional prize. And this time he got to be with Swedish Chef. He makes another cameo. Obviously, another reason why I like this edition is that they got to build some type of IKEA-like furniture together, and with the Scandinavian nature of IKEA and building that and Swedish Chef, it was a really funny segment overall, and I highly enjoyed this one. For our final segment, it is Muppets Lab Field Test, one that we've seen a lot of, but I think this is another one where they could utilize more often because it's Bunsen and Beaker. They're going to be testing another aspect of science, and this time the theme is pressure and Pascal's law. And so I started thinking immediately, what could they do with this? And sure enough, what I thought was going to happen did. They're going to use a hydraulic press. Now, let's be honest, we've all gotten into the mode someday of trying to go through the internet, and then we come across these videos of hydraulic presses smashing things, squishing them, and they explode out, and it's really satisfying. Now, the video for this one, that really wasn't as satisfying as much as funny, and watching, obviously, Bunsen and Beaker's dynamic of that. Bunsen again goes a little overboard and he smashes several things, and squishy balls, donuts, peanut butter and jelly jars. But then he decides that's not enough and has to go and destroy my man Beaker's personal belongings. And of course, Beaker tries to save some of them. Doesn't end well for him. If you enjoy press videos, you're gonna like this because it's got that satisfying a little bit nature of it, but it's also funny with Bunsen and Beaker. As always, I'd like to give a shout out to Scooter because he's the intro, outro, and in-between segments of all of this. And this time he was interacting a lot with Chip, the IT guy, who's really creepy. I get creeped out by that Muppet for some reason. And I think that's the whole point of it. But they're basically trying to keep some system from crashing on Muppets Now with uploading these segments, and that doesn't go so well. Except that when they do get all the episodes out, just shenanigans happen the whole way throughout. And it's all because he was trying to do an update of putting filters. That was really important to have for this episode. So now it's time to pick my favorite segment of episode 5, the IT factor. And, this one's a lot easier for me. I know last episode I struggled and was really on the fly picking this one. Far and away, I have my favorite, but let's start from the bottom to the top here. I gotta put Lifestyle with Miss Piggy down there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Not a big Miss Piggy fan, although I think this was one of her better segments for that one. And too much. Too much of it. Too much of something is sometimes not good. Next, I'll put, let's do Muppets Lab Field Test. I think it was still funny. I like the whole press idea video using the hydraulic things to smash things. Who doesn't love smashing things? They were funny, but the other two segments ahead of it were just a lot more enjoyable for me. That means number 2 for me is going to be Muppet Masters. I think this is one that is underutilized and they should keep doing this. I want to see a profile on Sam Eagle coming up. Really funny with Uncle Deadly and the whole stage combat aspect. So that'll be number 2 for me. which means my winner for this is Pepe's Unbelievable Game Show. I don't know why I do that every single time I talk about Pepe's Unbelievable Game Show, but I do. Several laugh out loud moments. The star of this one was the Muppet Goat. Caught me laughing several times throughout. Now it's your turn at home. I want to hear from you. A, have you watched Muppets Now episode 5, The IT Factor? If you have, let me know your thoughts about it. And then let me know, do you have a favorite segment? Do you disagree with my favorite segment? Should it be another one? Do you agree with my thoughts overall on that? I would love to hear from you down in the comments section below. We're also going to have some other Muppets content uploaded for you on our channel. If you'd like to check some of that out, I'm going to put a link for that down in the description, and there'll also be some links up above as well. Please remember to make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because we want to see you again here in the future. That's all for this edition of Eye to Eye, but until we assemble again, may the Force be with you, and I'll see you real soon.